With an abundance of teaching approaches, one thing is certain. You've got to learn the words, or in most cases, memorize entire phrases to be able to master foreign language. So the question is, how do we do that? You may try some of the methods that have already worked for you. Just make sure that when you learn a new word, you not only understand its meaning, but also know how to pronounce it correctly. Otherwise, your efforts would unfortunately be useless. Let me share one tech trick that I personally like. The tool I'm talking about is called Quizlet. You can sign up for free using your Google credentials. By the way, note that all my apps are in English. This is tremendously important, as we learn the language by using it all the time. So make sure you use this opportunity as well. On my dashboard, I already have several stacks of flashcards. Let me show some of them. Quizlet is basically an electronic equivalent of familiar flashcards. It is sometimes called flashcards on steroids, as it works miracles. This is my stack of flashcards. You can look through them. You can flip them over to see the translation, explanation, or an example sentence. You can even sometimes use an image instead of a translation. Let me show you one of the examples. For example, here, I can flip it over and I can see an image. It's up to me to decide. I can choose whatever I like to use on the other side of my card. The left panel has a number of ways to drill or practice new words. Note that these games are created by the Quizlet itself. You will have all of them by default. For example, this is how you can learn them. First, you can set your goal for today, whether you want to have a quick study or you want to memorize all of them. Then you can set how well you already know the material, whether the word is new or you have already practiced it. And now the program will ask you questions. You will have to match the image with the word. So one side of the flashcard with the other. For example, this is my incorrect answer and the program corrected me. Now I will try to say something correctly. And this is young or dirty, no. So the program is communicating with me. It's correcting me. As a teacher, I must tell you that the most difficult task in creating tests is to brainstorm incorrect answers. But Quizlet does all of it for you. Let's look at the other games. This is how you can test yourself. You can match, for example, the image with the word that you are learning. Or if you're using a different stack of cards, you will be able to choose the definition or the explanation from one side of the card to match it with the other. If you feel confident, you can even time yourself by matching the words, the pictures, with the translations and with their meanings. For example, I don't know, week. It's fun. Good news is that you can do all of it from your desktop, your tablet, or a phone while having your morning coffee. It's as simple as that. The last, but certainly not the least point here is how to create flashcards. On the one hand, it may seem really convenient if you already have a stack of cards that you can simply use. But the problem here is that if you are using the cards that have been created by someone else, you deprive yourself of a very important learning opportunity. Remember that we learn the words differently. All of us have our own associations. That's why if you want to remember the word better and for a longer period of time, you should create your own flashcard yourself. For every word, you will be able to select the translation, the definition, or an example sentence that clicks with you, which will guarantee better retention and better memorization for future. So I understand that this is really time consuming, but please believe me, this is a good investment in learning the language. Let me guide you through the process of creating your own flashcards. First, you have to log in, then hit the Create button. You will create your own study set. Begin with giving your new stack of cards a name. For example, practice new words, or you can type whatever you like. You can add a description if you want to. Then you will see two columns. The first column is what you will have on the front side of your card. The second column is what you will have on the flip on the other side of the card. Right now, I have only 2 terms, but I can add as many terms and as many cards as I like. Sometimes the stacks of cards can reach huge numbers, like hundreds and thousands, but my advice is to split the words into several groups rather than make one immensely huge group. So how do we enter the words that we want to memorize? First, you type the word in the first column, for example, the word pretty. Then have a look here. On the other side, you can select the language of the translation. For example, here I had Ukrainian, let's say English. And if I have, for example, English here, then the program will offer me the definition of the word that I'm trying to memorize. So I don't even have to look in the dictionary if I am encountering the word that is new to me. For example, pretty means beautiful. Ugly is the antonym, so it's up to you whether you want to memorize 2 opposite words or 2 similar words. I will pick beautiful. Here, as I said, you can also enter the image to remember your word. Then the second word will be read. Sometimes it's not really convenient to memorize the words by their definitions or by their explanations. Then if you want, you can remember it with a translation. For example, read. What does it mean? Читати. It's up to you. If you want, you can enter and memorize the word with an example. For example, if the word is correct, I want to memorize the phrase, is that correct? Again, it's up to me. And again, the program will offer me some of the images. Sometimes these images can help me remember the word better. I can continue for as much as I want. Once I am done, I just hit the Create button. And I can play and practice these words as much as I want. Pretty, beautiful. Read, читати. Correct, is that correct? I can learn them if I want. Yeah, correct. Or I can test myself. Correct. Choose the matching definition. Correct. This one. Pretty. This is my answer. By the way, note that I can always play the pronunciation. Or match it if I want. I will start the game. Is that correct? Here. Read. And pretty. Great. I hope you found this tutorial useful. Should you have any questions, you're more than welcome to ask me.